Okay. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm the opening act, so I think people are going to start coming in and things like that. But it's been a great 2 days of discussion. So I'm going to give a little welcome introduction, and then hand it over to our speakers, our opening remarks for the meeting. So first, I'd like to just welcome everybody to our food security, the KAUST Food Security Summit. This is we've had a workshop, and now the summit is really, what came out of this, and where are we going to go next? So I'd first like to thank some of our sponsors. We'd like to thank the Mecca Regional Development Authority and the KAUST Office of Sponsored Research for the support of this meeting. So thank you very much. So many of you know me. Some new people in the audience don't know me. My name is Rod Wing. I'm a professor at KAUST, and I'm the director of the Center for Desert Agriculture. I've been here for 3 years. I come from the University of Arizona, so I was there for 20 years in Tucson, so I moved from one desert to another. So this is a very familiar environment to me. And the Center for Desert Agriculture, I want to just tell you a little bit about it, just to tell you about what we're focusing on. So we perform our basic research. It's a basic research lab. We have 10 outstanding faculty from all over the world, and we perform basic research from developmental biology to biochemistry to gene editing to genetics and genomics, all the way to basic plant breeding. We perform translational research, so translating some of our science into practical solutions. And the three projects we're working on really right now are date palms, to try to make date palms more resilient. We're trying to domesticate new crop species that can grow in extreme environments. And we're also working on the science underpinning the establishment of sustainable terrestrial ecosystems in support of the greening of Saudi Arabia. Another thing we're working on is we're trying to promote a paradigm shift in the country to use controlled environmental agriculture as a water-saving solution to produce high-value crops that will bring a great price to the Saudi farmers, and then have a mix of staple agriculture in the country as well as imports. So we're trying to really push controlled environmental agriculture, both commercially and academically, through training and research. Another piece that we're working on is what Princess Mushaiti called a sustainable education program to promote youth, to teach the youth in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia the importance of healthy diets, locally sourced food, and really what is sustainable agriculture in the country to prevent food waste, so on and so forth. We discussed much of this here, but we're really trying to promote this, and we hope that we can launch this across the country. And finally, the creation of new startup companies in the sustainable agriculture space. So there's many companies that are featured in the back, and innovation, startup companies, new ideas, new intellectual property, so on and so forth. So all of these themes center around the overarching question: how can we feed our world without destroying our planet? This is something that I've been talking about for many years, and this is often called the 10 billion people question, that we are faced with feeding an increased population of increasing populations globally. So especially in Africa, Southeast Asia, and we need to have sustainable food, and with 3 more billion people on the planet, how are we going to do this? But this also leads to another new 10 billion question, and that is, how can we sustainably grow 10 billion trees across the KSA and billions more across the Middle East. So these topics and many others were discussed and debated over the past 2 days with leaders and experts across the globe and will be summarized and discussed at today's summit. So that's why we're here today. So two of the main drivers behind the holding of this summit were, one, to devise a roadmap for sustainable food security and environmental protection across the KSA. So that's what a big reason why we're here today. What's the roadmap, and bringing lots of different entities together. And a second and very important driver behind this is that we want to demonstrate that KAUST, the CDA, and many other centers like the KAUST Solar Center, the Water Desalination and Reuse Centers, and other faculty are here and at the table to work with all stakeholders, government, university, and industry, to make KSA a world leader and model for food security and environmental protection that we can all be proud of, and pass this on to our future generations, to our children. I would like to thank all the participants for their insightful remarks and discussions, and our tremendous staff for their logistical support. And last but not least, the tremendous efforts of Dr. Rebecca Waller and Mark Tester for their leadership in running such a successful meeting. Rebecca, I don't know if you could stand up for a minute and take an applause. Putting you on the spot. And Mark Tester, he can't be here today. He's apologizing for that, but I think he's online, but he can't be here in person with us today. So with that, I'm going to hand over the microphone to the summit's MC, Paul Dalby, to introduce today's opening addresses. Paul?
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Salam alaikum. I'm Paul Dalby. I'm your MC for today, and I've been here over the last 2 days as well. We've had Rod give us an introduction. We now have a formal welcome to the summit, and I would like to introduce you to Professor Carin, who is the Provost of KAUST and an expert in his own right in artificial intelligence and natural language programming. So welcome, Professor Carin.
So thank you so much, and thank you, Rod, for your incredible leadership in so many ways here at KAUST. So I just want to say a few words. I'm certainly no expert in plants or food or anything of that sort, but I am the Provost at KAUST. And so just to say a few words about KAUST and where we're focusing. So as many of you know, KAUST is about 13 years old. And in the early days of KAUST, there was significant focus in developing our faculty and developing our lines of research. So a lot of internal focus on developing the university, and we still need to do that. But as we move into our second decade, and particularly as the kingdom is transforming itself, it's incredibly important for KAUST to have an increasing role in the kingdom in impacting the direction in the future of the kingdom. And so that has many components, but that involves our faculty working with ministries and other parts of the kingdom to try to bring the expertise of KAUST to the kingdom to assist in the transformation. Rod mentioned education. KAUST has a very important role to play in delivering education to a broad community of people in the kingdom in the context of workforce development so that the kingdom can execute on all of its projects. So as I think of these areas of focus for KAUST, I cannot think of a better example of that than what we are engaging in over these 3 days. So Rod and Mark Tester have been tireless in their efforts to bring the research of the CDA to the kingdom. And so Rod is working with many ministries, and I believe we have many of you from those ministries here today, and welcome. And we are eager to engage with you and increase that engagement. And Mark Tester has been a real leader in bringing the technology of KAUST to the marketplace through entrepreneurship, et cetera. So the engagement of KAUST with the kingdom is going to take many forms. What's going on here with the CDA and with this workshop and summit is a perfect example of that. I also want to point to my colleague Matt McCabe, who is leading the Climate and Livability Initiative, for which this program is aligned. The CLI, Climate Livability Initiative, is broader than this, but this certainly is a part of it. So KAUST, we're eagerly trying to contribute to the momentum of the kingdom as we move forward on Vision 2030. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful 2 days, the previous 2 days, and we expect that today will be great. The summit is very important to bring all of the ideas together to try to think how we move forward together. So again, welcome everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful summit today.
The Vice Minister of Environment, Water and Agriculture, His Excellency Engineer Mansour bin Hilal Al Mushaiti, will provide the opening remarks for Day 3 of this summit. Engineer Mansour is currently, as well as the Vice Minister for Environment, Water and Agriculture, he is also a board member in the Human Resources Fund, the General Authority for Statistics, the General Investment Authority and the Saudi Council for Engineers. His biography is very extensive and listed in the program, but it is clear that he has played a key leadership role in developing the strategic water and energy infrastructure of Saudi Arabia, and we welcome him very much to provide the opening remarks of this summit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you hear me well. I tried my best to be physically with you this morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. So from here, from Riyadh, I'm honored and pleased to shed some light and provide you and share with you insight with regard to the MIWA's insight with regard to sustainable food security. Speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, صباح الخير. أهلا وسهلا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I would like to express my gratitude to King Abdullah University for Science and Technology for the effort made to hosting this much needed summit. It is really a very useful and enlightening opportunity to engage all stakeholders involved in the food system to offer solutions that brings together a wide range of perspectives to maintain sustainable food security, particularly for our homeland. I am greatly thankful to the organizer of the workshop and the summit, and also to the speakers and participants. Today, advanced technologies and innovation are becoming essential to transform our food system. However, there is a dire need to balance economic, social, environmentally sustainable dimensions to overcome the pressing challenges such as climate change, rising global temperature, water scarcity, low productivity, land degradation, and population growth. In this regard, I firmly believe in the concept of mission-oriented scientific research and innovation to address these challenges. We are looking forward to welcoming our scientists to significantly contribute to the transition of our food systems to be highly productive, economically viable, and environmentally sound. Investment in the R&D is a key factor for innovation, invention, and progress. Therefore, we rely highly on our scientists to play the crucial role through developing high-yielding plant varieties and animal breeds with high productivity. In order to promote scientific research for agriculture development, we in MIWA are working in collaboration with the Saudi universities and research centers. A sum of 122 million Saudi riyals is already allocated to enhance productivity in fisheries, soilless culture, in modern agriculture, date palms, and promising crops. Moreover, we have already allocated about 100 million Saudi riyal to strengthen applied research by promoting modern concepts of agriculture to develop suitable, precise, and innovation technologies for agriculture systems which are sought to be eco-friendly, climate smart, affordable, accessible, efficient, and customizable as a way forward to tackling food security and sustainability challenges. I would encourage all the stakeholders not only to prioritize those technologies in a way that maximizes returns and enhance their productivity, but also to put special focus on the future of food concepts like alternative protein, vertical farming, zero waste, circular economy, and precision agriculture. Adequate food for all is only possible via a food system that is sustainable and resilient to support food security and nutrition. It is the right time to promote and practice multidisciplinary and modern approach like agro-ecosystem living labs that involve public sector and private sector, non-government organization, and academia partners to co-design, monitor, and evaluate new and existing agriculture practices and technologies to improve their effectiveness and early adoption. Lastly, we are ambitious and aspiring to benefit from the new opportunities that lies in the knowledge-based, newly developed fourth industrial revolution technologies. To maximize the potential in terms of enhancing food productivity and resource use efficiency, enhancement to meet future food security and nutrition challenges along with environmental protection. At the end, I would like to emphasize that involvement of young scientists under the esteemed supervision of experts for the development of a future sustainable and resilient food system is our way forward. On this note, I would like to thank the conveners, organizers, speakers, and scientists, and we look forward to fruitful engagement and collaborations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vice Minister. It's a very inspiring way to start the day. Our next speaker is Professor Mark Tester, unfortunately unable to be here due to health issues, but Mark has really been the intellectual driver and leader behind this summit. He needs to take a lot of credit for it, and he is here to help us set the agenda and the purpose for the day and describe the process of how we got to this point and what we need to do to complete our tasks for today. Thank you, Professor Tester.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, everybody. Vice Minister. I add my welcome to the summit for today's discussion on how to deliver sustainable food security for the Kingdom. We've now recorded almost 650 attendees, nearly 400 in person. This is twice our expectations and I think underlines the importance of the topic we are discussing. It also gives some level of authority behind any messages we're able to put together for the wider community. I'd like to start by adding my personal thanks to those given by Rod, to all those involved in the support of this conference. KAUST provided substantial finance and major logistical support, and very significant extra support from the Mecca Regional Development Authority is also very gratefully acknowledged. Their engagement is particularly noted. And then there are the people. This meeting has been running very smoothly, and this is due to the huge team of supporters, both professional and voluntary. Paul as MC, the KAUST staff, often behind the scenes, the CDA core team, and the many volunteers from the CDA students, technicians, and postdocs who have all put their shoulder to the wheel to help us pull this off. Please join me in thanking all these people. It is invidious to name particular people, but I must give very special thanks to three special people who have stepped up above and beyond the call of duty. Melanie, especially in the last week, 24/7. And Anna and Rebecca, who for several months have been central to this and driven this organisation incredibly well. I cannot thank them enough. Later in the day, Rod Wing, the CDA director, will give a proper in-person thanks to those involved. Thank you, Rod. I'm sorry I'm not here. I have COVID. So, we've been defining issues on Monday and developing solutions yesterday. And now today, we must work out how to deliver those solutions. We must involve intergovernmental organisations, government, the giga projects, corporations and entrepreneurs. Today is structured to hear from all these areas of economic activity, and I'm keen to learn how these areas will be contributing to increasing the sustainability of the food sector. Ultimately, much comes down to water. And remember, we cannot maintain the status quo. We have to change, or we'll be out of water. And this will be within 20 to 200 years. We actually don't know, but it's in that range. And then, when those water supplies start getting depleted and the quality starts going down, we will struggle to maintain even our iconic, sacred groves of date palms. And there will not be farmers' livelihoods to protect and to support, for they will have gone under anyway as the water quality declines and the amounts go down. We have to be radical and we have to be brave. And yes, adoption of a whole range of technologies and approaches across a whole range of sectors is essential. In this context, I'd just like to add one note regarding efforts to increase efficiencies. And I'd like to raise the Jevons paradox, where technological progress or government policy increases the efficiency with which a resource is used, but the rate of consumption of that resource actually rises due to increasing demand. And this could apply to personal behaviour. You make cars more fuel efficient, people actually drive cars more and more fuel net is consumed. This has been empirically observed. I'm not making this up. But the paradox can also often apply to business. If you make the use of a particular resource more efficient, it makes it more favourable. It makes more favourable the business case to use the resource. So more businesses will enter this space and thus increase resource use. This is relevant to water and food. Even if these are considered inelastic commodities because they're fundamentals of life, at a local scale, they can be elastic. And I think they're much more elastic than economists normally consider, because In this modern context, food is cheaper and more available than it ever has been in history. And so too is obesity and waste, especially here in Saudi Arabia. So from my perspective, and I'm not saying I'm right, and let's discuss this hard today, but from my perspective, proper metering of resource use and proper costing of resource use is by far the most effective tool to control use. I think we must pay the real price for the resources we are using. And I have to acknowledge this complexity, given resources and markets are shared within this region, this may well need to be done at a regional level. Perhaps regional international treaties might be needed. I would argue that the situation is of sufficient seriousness that this should be given very serious consideration. So, let's get to work. Let's see what the different areas of economic activity can do to deliver increased sustainability in the food sector. From the outcomes of this meeting, I've been compiling a draft declaration to summarise the outcomes of this meeting. Princess Mushaiti and I will present this in the final session at 3 p.m. and I look forward to a really good discussion around this. So everybody, please have a great day. And as Rod Wings said so well at the very beginning, let's build something we can be proud of and that can be an example to the rest of the world. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mark. That sets up today really beautifully. To remind ourselves about the work, the hard work and the good work that has been done over the last 2 days, we've got a number of presentations which will summarise some of the key points. We have had 4 chairs at this summit who have done an amazing job at curating content and speakers for a number of different sessions and then leading some discussions and coming up with some conclusions that they're going to present here today. And a lot of people have been thanked. I do think we should thank the session chairs for the hard work that they've done. So the 4 sessions have been food supply, water supply, food use and environmental change and the Saudi Green Initiative. The first person to come up to the stage to summarise the work that they've been doing with their groups over the last 2 days is Dr. Suleiman Ali Al-Khatib, who is going to be talking about food supply issues.